Hey there yogis, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to my yoga time. Thanks for joining me today. Today's yoga class was specifically requested from a very dear yoga friend of mine and fellow teacher. We're going to break down our chair pose, Utkatasana, and also revolved chair, Parvarita Utkatasana. So this class will include a few warm-up postures to help fire up our back extensors, hamstrings and glutes. We'll also move through a few counter stretches as well, a few different variations of chair pose to help you isolate and engage the correct muscles. So there will be a few different variations that we play with, some with a block, also against a wall. So do position yourself close to the wall, and when you're ready, let's begin. We're going to start on our navel. So come on down. And we'll begin with our arms out in front. Have the hands around about shoulder width apart and lift up your elbows and your palms. So you're just on those fingertips, and gently draw your shoulders back towards your hips. And you should instantly feel those muscles along the spine engage. Let's start to deepen the breath here. Find your diaphragmatic breath. Breathe down into the belly. Keep the jaw relaxed. And begin to tone the throat for Ujjayi breath. That little constriction through the back of your throat. Well done, yogis. One more breath. And let's lower down. Just take a very brief rest, brief counter stretch, crocodile pose. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead down. And let's move on. Hands now reaching back, touching the outer edges of your hips. Now we want to tuck the tailbone under, so you're shortening the space between pubic bone and belly button. Lower belly is firming. Let's lift the upper body just a little and try and lift your elbows up towards the ceiling. Starting to contract those extensor muscles along the spine. One more breath. And exhale to lower. Crocodile pose once again. Breathe down into the lower belly, the lower back. And one last back bend here. Same again, hands next to the hips. This time we're going to bend the knees. Engage the buttocks, so squeeze the buttocks and you should feel the knees lift off the mat just a little. Little lift through the upper body, reach the fingers back. Chin lifts, throat moves forward. Keep a tone in the buttocks. Don't overstrain. We're not looking for height. We're just looking to engage and breathe. And lower down, well done. Crocodile pose once again. Deepen the breath in the back side of the body. And let's lift up from here into tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll turn the eyes of the elbows forward, fingers spread wide. Let's inhale into your back bend, exhaling to round. Now by all means, feel free to stay here with those knees on the mat for your cat-cow stretches. Otherwise, let's include our downward facing dog. As you round the spine, take the hips up and back. Hold here as you inhale, and then exhale, return the knees to the mat. We'll do two more. And your last downward facing dog here. Let's step those feet up to the top of the mat. If your block's close by, you can take a hold of it and we'll just roll up to stand. All right, yogis, we're going to use the wall for the next pose. It's the only posture we're going to use on the wall. Block is in between the thighs, and you're going to sit back, bottom on the wall, back on the wall, and it's an imaginary chair. Bend the knees as you lower down. So the feet here are hip width apart, and we want to squeeze in on the block. If you can, let's cactus arms. Draw the shoulders back and down the spine. Try and press the back of the head into the wall, back of the palms, and also the buttocks. Keep squeezing in on the block. Even weight through the heels and the balls of the feet. And let's release. Come on up when you're ready. Keep the bottom on the wall if you can. Little bend in the knees. We're going to fall forward. Feel free to collect the elbows. So I'm just leaning into the wall here still, taking a little rock from side to side, letting the head hang. And when you're ready, if you like, you can take the hands to the wall as you slowly bring yourself up. Well done, yogis. Let's take a hold of our block once again. Give the legs a little walk out. So traditionally, chair pose was taught with the big toes touching, maybe a slight distance between the heels. Today we're going to explore a few variations with the feet hip width apart. Now, for most of us yogis in the western part of the world, due to our lifestyle, our hips will prefer if the feet are hip width apart for your chair pose. So it's not that there's a right or wrong, it's finding what feels best for your body. So to begin with, block in between the thighs once again, and we're going to do a little chair flow this time. So if you've practiced a few classes on my channel, you may have done this flow with me before. Feet are hip width apart, thighs are going to squeeze in. Let's bring the hands in front of the heart center, palms apart, fingertips touching, and you want to draw your shoulders down so you're really feeling your armpits and your lats engage. Let's inhale. And as you exhale, keep that tone in the arms, start to bend the knees, drop the weight back into the heels to begin with. So the thighs are still squeezing in on the block. Slightly drop the tailbone down if you like. Initially, weight comes into the heels, and then if it feels okay, you can spread the weight evenly to the balls of the feet as well. But if your knees are sensitive, keep the weight back in the heels. Here is option one. A little stronger, lower the hands down, pick up the heels. Let's find a little balance pose there. And heels down, hands to heart, come all the way up. Little twist. Try and keep the hips square to the front of the room. Keep squeezing in on the block. Let's turn to the right. Back to center. Keep the tone in the armpits. Turn to the left. We'll do that 2 more times. Squeezing in on the block, lower down, weight back into the heels first, then option to move into the balls of the feet. So if you're keeping your feet flat here and you just try to lift up the heels but don't, you're going to engage a little more of a bandha, a muscular lock around the knee joint. Feeling a little playful, lift up the heels, take the hands back, actively reach through the fingers, draw the shoulders down. And come back to center. We'll practice our last round. We're twisting here through the middle part of the spine, lower down. The last variation here. Coming back to center, let's remove the block. Feel free to walk out the legs and we'll take it to top of the mat. We're going to do a little flow now. So block down to the side. Let's bring those hands to the heart center. Palms are touching this time. Press the palms together and try and draw the shoulders down. Again, we want to feel that tone through the armpits. Let's take the weight into the right leg, lift up the left knee, warrior 3. Take the leg back. So you can rest here with the thumbs on the sternum if you like, or you can reach the arms in front. Maybe interlace the fingers and extend the pointer fingers straight ahead. Tailbones tucking a little here, belly draws in, outer left hip rounds down. Another great pose to help fire up the extensor muscles along the back, glutes, hamstrings. Let's inhale. As you exhale, high lunge. You can separate the palms. And then mindfully transition into warrior two. So turning the back foot out a little, right heel intercepting the arch on the left foot. Moving into a side angle pose in just a moment. Let's reverse the warrior. Then take the elbow down to the knee. Sweep the left arm down and overhead. So we're just wanting to get some length in the side body, preparing for our twist. Option to take a mudra through your right hand. You can either press evenly into both feet as though you're stretching the mat. You can try and fire up that psoas a little more if you pick up the heel, hike up the leg, tuck the tailbone under. Let's inhale. And exhale, ground down, return to center. Rock back a little, step it up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway up, hands can be on the floor or the knees. Exhale to fold. So here, let's make sure our feet are hip width apart. We're coming up into chair pose. You can reach the arms back to begin with, and then bend the knees, sweep the arms forward. So to begin with, weight can drop back into the heels. Either stay there if you're nursing some agitated knees, otherwise weight can now spread to the balls of the feet as well. If you try and pick up your heels, but you don't actually, you're going to engage a little more around the knees. Feel free to point the tailbone down and try and engage the buttocks to bring in a little more space to the low back. And let's come all the way up. Well done, yogis. Practice that one on the other side. Right leg lifts. Warrior three. The hands are staying at the heart, palms press, shoulders draw down towards the hips. Otherwise, we're reaching fingers out in front. High lunge. Warrior two. Reverse. Side angle. Variation of your choice. We're just looking for length in the side waist. As we prepare for our twisted chair. And let's lower down, frame the foot, rock back, step it up to the top of the mat. Half lift as you inhale, forward fold as you exhale. So here, yogis, option one, come into chair as we just did, with the feet hip width apart. For a more traditional chair, bring the big toes to touch, a little distance between the heels. Again, you can reach the arms back, bend the knees, bring the arms forward. Now, if this is too strong on the upper back and shoulders, hands can come to prayer. We want to squeeze the knees together, and if you try and engage the buttocks, the tailbone will point down a little and you'll relieve any compression there in the low back. If your arms are in front, let's turn the pinky fingers in a little. Lift the chin and move the throat forward. And all the way up. Hands to the heart. So an excellent counter stretch for our chair pose is our standing forward fold, Utkatasana, or also your ragdoll as well. So we'll take one of those here. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale to fold. Feel free to collect the opposite elbows, little bend in the knees. And let's trace some figure of eights through those elbows. Let the head hang. Give in to gravity. Feel free to ha out the breath. And let's release those elbows and roll up to stand. Well done, yogis. So with your chair pose, whether your feet are hip width apart and you're practicing there with or without the block, or the big toes are together, the idea is that we're isolating and engaging those adductor muscles through the inner thighs by squeezing in to the center line of the body. You'll find a little more balance and stability if you try and engage the buttocks there so that the tailbone points down. We're going to play with our revolved chair now, Parvarita Utkatasana. Typically, we don't use a block for this pose. However, if you have limited range of motion and you've just recovered from a knee or hip injury, this might help stabilize a little bit more. If you are using the block, obviously your feet are going to be hip width apart. You're still squeezing in on the block, and your revolved chair pose will look like this. Left hand on the low back, right hand on the knee. Try and keep the knees in line. That right knee is going to want to push forward, so you'll need to bring it back. This could be your revolved chair to begin with. Otherwise, big toes touch, little space between the heels, hands to prayer. Let's squeeze the knees together and take a seat. Weight back into the heels to begin with, and then feel free to spread the weight to the balls of the feet as well. A little tone in the buttocks. Option 1, left hand to low back, right hand to right knee. Option 2, right hand to left knee. Option 3, hook the right elbow around the outside of the left knee. So quick look down, make sure your right knee is not pushing in front of the left. We all have a tendency to do this, so be mindful. Keep a tone in the buttocks to help counteract that. Left palm presses down onto the right and tries to slide forward. Chin tucks and the neck moves back. So you have the option of staying here, return to your forward fold, your ragdoll when you need to. If you're feeling a little playful, you might like to transfer your weight into your left foot and pick up the right foot. You can hold it here for a few breaths, or you can step back with control. Let's drop that back knee down to the mat. Come to center, arms up. Inhale. And exhale, hands down. Rock back, step it up to the top of the mat. Half lift as you inhale, forward fold. And when you reverse swan dive, press the feet away from one another. Let's practice that on the other side. So big toes to touch once again, heels slightly apart, thumbs resting on the sternum. Squeeze the knees, slowly bend. So option again to play with your weight here, either keep it back into the heels or evenly spread it to the balls of the feet now. Right hand to the low back, left hand to the left knee, or left hand to the right knee. Final variation, hands to Anjali Mudra. Keep guiding that left knee back. Knees pressing in. Right palm presses down on top of the left, chin slightly tucks, neck moves back. Once again, return to ragdoll or pick up that left foot. Keep squeezing, knees together. Step it back when you're ready. Press into both feet now. Breathe. Left knee to the mat, low lunge, back to center, lift the arms up, a little tone through the left buttock, and gently try and drag that right heel back a little. Inhale. And exhale, hands lower down, lift it up into a lunge, back into your downward facing dog. Let's hire out the breath. And lower knees to the mat. Well done, yogis. We're going to come down onto our back now. Take a little counter stretch. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall out wide. Supta Baddha Konasana. We spent a lot of time hugging those knees into the center line of the body. Now let's let them relax. Arms can be out to the side or above the head. And breathe down into the hips, the thighs, the lower belly, the lower back. you're ready, lower the arms down by your side. Press the feet together and the outside blades of the feet down into the mat. Let's lift the hips up into a bridge variation with butterfly legs. Broaden the collarbones. And exhale to lower. Let's bring the knees together. You can hug them into the chest. And then when you bring them back out, stack the knees above the hips as though you're sitting in a chair. Push the hands into the knees and pull the knees back into the hands. Imprint your lower back onto the mat. And let's relax. Again, bend the elbows, thighs into the chest. Now to press away. Take as long as you need to here in your own time. You can lower those legs down and taking a brief rest in Shavasana. Feel the mat beneath the body, those meeting points. Take a deep inhalation and pause. And as you exhale slowly, give in to gravity. And take the time here, yogis, to just be. Let's inhale a little deeper now. Wiggle toes and fingers. Follow any urges to move or stretch. In your own time, rolling to your preferred side. And feel free to stay there for a few moments. Come to seated only when you're ready to continue on with your day. Thanks for practicing with me today, yogis. I hope you enjoyed that short tutorial style class. If you have any requests on postures or parts of the body or anything you'd like to work on, please don't hesitate to put those class requests in the comments below. The intention of this channel is to help cultivate your home practice. Wishing you a lovely day.